we get to see the major motion picture debut of legendary scream queen Linnea Quigley, who would go on to star in such low-budget films that I love so much, such as Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Sorority Babes at Slimeball Bolorama. And she spends the entire time buck naked, and she does a striptease on a tombstone. Go check it out. They recently released it to DVD in a special edition with a few extras like a documentary, an audio commentary, and even an image gallery. Now you can get it at Best Buy for a mere $10. Interesting side note. Now, for years, fans have been passing around a working print, which has alternate and additional scenes. They have different dialogue and even a different ending. However, the copies I've seen have always been of low quality, but they've been interesting nonetheless. I'm your video vixen, and that's my pick for this week. My little guilty pleasure. Until next time, I'll leave you with this question.
For something that's already been. How do I know, Fred? I don't know. Let me think. Not a bad question, Bert.
But very soon I'll need to hunt the scent of blood instead. Rising from your earth bed, it thickens in the air. A smell gone sweetly rancid. I know that you are near.
I mean, I got something to say, you know. What do you think this is for? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life. Yeah. Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will you?
I know you think I'm nasty, but I am no common girl. I once slept with the devil. It was really no big thrill. The passion of the killers who lie awake for me. Just show me my own meaning of death and ecstasy.
No, I goofed it up. I have to do that all over again now.
It's not a bad question, Bert.
First, specialists in abduction, brainwashing, and murder.
Welcome to the Brotherhood, Miss Davis.
Not me.
Their human farm is a living nightmare where science goes mad. Thirst is deadlier than the plague. It conjures unspeakable terrors. You can run. You can hide. But you cannot escape thirst.
We're back. As you saw there, the people that are at the blood farm, they living pretty good. They really, you know, for being victims or potential victims, life isn't so bad for them. Except that they're going to end up dead and, you know, going to end up being feeding people, which sort of sucks, I suppose.
They're just like cows.
Yeah, so the movie features David Hemmings, as I believe he's sort of one of the head of the vampires. David Hemmings from the classic Bird with Crystal Plumage by Dario Argento, and most known to art movie fans for a movie called Blow Up by Michelangelo Antonioni. So he's great. Henry Silva, very classic bad guy actor. So I think you guys will recognize him in the movie. He's also one of the elite bad guys. So it's a really interesting premise. The build-up for this movie is very interesting. But here is the problem with Thirst. It's kind of slow moving.
Incredibly slow.
Yeah, it's kind of an intellectual take on the vampire movie.
Right.
And well, that's cool. And it's a very cool idea. The execution of it really sort of takes some getting used to. And
that's true.
Not a movie you're going to pop on Saturday night and you know, have a great time with. But if you want to give it some thought, have some, you know, kind of a thinking man's horror film, I suppose. It's got some value. But, you know,
who wants to think when they're watching a horror movie?
Apparently not many of today's audiences.
Nah, we just like to be entertained.
Yeah.
Because these vampires don't even have fangs.
No fangs. They're just people that drink the blood.
they have these pseudo, what do you call them, bridges with the fangs
Right,
on
that
them.
they help them sort of drink.
And they're not supernatural except for the fact that their eyes turn red when they're about to drink the blood. They don't get any younger. They're still mortal. So I don't see what the point was.
It's kind of an aristocracy thing. It's sort of a, you know, the elite get to drink the blood. So it's a, you know, it's a cool idea, but the execution left me a little cold, a little dry, if you would say.
I just thought it was stupid.
Miss Mio is a little more blunt than I am. So what would you give this, Miss Mio?
God, it's not even worth my time. I would say, just for effort, 1.5.
Wow, I certainly wouldn't go that low.
Oh,
but,
come on. There was nothing good about it.
Oh, it was a good idea. It was a good idea. But I will give Thirst a little better of a review. I'm going to go for probably a 5. Because I think it had a lot of good ideas and some good actors. And it just really had very little to go with pacing and scares. So,
No scares.
no scares. So, you know, once again, we're a little split on Thirst, but we both agree that it's probably more of a rental situation. So, but it did leave us thirsty.
Yeah, for something alcoholic, so we can get through it.
Ah, she likes those alkies. Hey kids, it's time for that great Neon Madness moment where we take a look at a book that you should read. I know reading's not the most popular thing in the world with the children these days, with all that crazy internet and bestiality porn and fake nude celebrity pictures and all that other crap that you can get, but you know, reading's good for you and you should give it a shot. It is called Agitator, The Films of Takeshi Miike by Tom Mace. The book chronicles basically the life and career of Takeshi Miike. You're going, who? I know that name. It sounds familiar. Well, what you probably aren't realizing, or maybe a few sharp-witted ones out there are, is that Takeshi Miike is the director behind such classic Neon Madness type movies as Ichi the Killer, one of my all-time favorites, Visitor Q, another fantastic classic that we've reviewed here on the show, Dead or Alive, which has the classic scene where a guy gets shot in the stomach after eating a bowl after bowl of ramen noodles and they explode into the camera. Pretty classic cinema there. And dozens of others. Miike, his films are gained a lot of popularity here in the States because of their graphic nature and their outrageous over-the-top style and tone. And all of this is explored intensely in this book, but this book spends a lot of time breaking down the thematic elements of Miike's films. Usually these are elements that have been widely overlooked here in the West, where critics tend to see a Miike film and just see the surface explosiveness. So the book delves deep into that, and it is very, very cool. Also spends a few chapters talking about Miike's childhood, Miike's teen years, and things like that, which are pretty interesting. Could be more of that, but overall it's a great book. Available from Fab Press. Check them out on the web. Do a search and find Fab Press. And check it out. I think you'll find this book way worthwhile.